Rev-Up office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Up next, Hard Drive. Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe, especially those of you checking us out on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. Welcome to Hard Drive for another week, another Monday. Today is the 23rd of June, 2025. I'm Andre Paul, the co-host of the show. To my immediate left, none other than my good brother, Tony Paul.
Good morning. You always go to the left.
Yeah, that's right. Habit, man. Habit.
Good morning, everyone. Another Monday is upon us, and let's make it a really, really good one. Good week and happy week to each and everybody.
Indeed, Tony. Thank you very much. And let's say good morning to co-host number 2, none other than the lovely Keena.
Good morning, the Paul brothers. Good morning, listeners and viewers. It's good to be back. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you're ready to just take the world by storm. Whatever comes your way, just keep that smile on your face and that spunk in your step. Happy Monday. Mwah.
Alrighty. Thank you, Keena. Tony, last night, I was about leaving my home to go on a lime, right? So I'm coming out of my home, going into the garage, and I see a fella on in the garage. I think he was sleeping. Maybe he could have been dead. I wasn't sure.
The Honorable Toad.
So I said, hey. Because I have to double check. The man could be dead. I said, hey. He get up. I see his Toad, right? He get up. So I said, boy, what you doing there, boy? He tell me, yeah, whatever he sit there. And he showed me a glass of rum, a glass of rum. I tell him, boy, you drink it, boy? Hey, man, you want some?
At least he was willing to share. Yeah.
That's a real good one.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yes. Yeah, he got it from us.
I figure.
He came and he was asking and stuff, and fellas said, if you get a cup, we'll give you some.
So he found a cup. He found a cup.
Find that from wherever, boy. Man. Make sure.
But I tell you, Toad's place is, if there's a heaven, Tony, he's sure his place is secure. Toad don't look for trouble for anybody. Made no steal from anybody.
That's true.
The man just on his little vibe. Drinking his rum and thing. That's what makes him happy. And I always say, do what makes you happy.
That's right.
You've always said that.
Yeah.
I mean,
happy.
What more can he do, Tony? Think about it.
That's
what more can he do?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's
really.
going to employ this guy. Okay, he's unemployable.
But no, don't say that. Don't say
Not
that.
even to wash a vehicle or something.
Let me tell you something.
No, he won't.
One day I asked this guy to wash my vehicle because I was asking for money. I said, okay, wash the vehicle for me, please. Let me tell you, when I came to inspect the job, the vehicle looked worse.
Yeah.
When I gave it to him, it looked worse.
No. What did he do though?
I told him, stop.
Yeah, you wash a vehicle? No.
Stop.
The only thing he can do, Andre, he can make message.
He can do what?
He can make
a message.
What?
Yeah.
So if you send him to, go get something, he goes.
A tank of gas.
Bringing back your change as well.
See that?
Okay.
That Andre, for me, that's amazing. You say, go buy a tank of gas. Go and throw some garbage for us and so on. Put some garbage up the wherever, you know what I mean? You do that. Go and buy a tank of gas. Go and buy bread. Go and buy whatever. Bring back your change for you.
Oh.
Obviously, he'll
so
ask
he's a good messenger then.
Right. That
But he's not a car wash guy.
No.
Forget about the Angel. He's a mess.
Andre. And how long has he been?
Forever.
All his life.
Forever.
Well, that's an exaggeration.
Of course.
He was a normal guy.
Yeah.
Normal guy. And I remember him vaguely at the Leclerc school. He was a young boy, right? And then he just picked up the alcohol and the abuse of the alcohol, and he's just been like that most of his life, adult life.
That's
is
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really, really sad. I was saying last night, again, when our mother and father were making love and ejaculation took place and so on, and how many millions of sperm cells released and juggling and fighting to get to that egg, right? And you know, you have that one opportunity, that one chance, just that one chance, right? And imagine you come out, you came out of all the millions of sperm cells, right? And you make it, you're born into this world. Because that means if you were not born at that time, you'd never get another opportunity. That'd be it for you, no more. Think of the number of millions and billions of people who almost born and never made it, right? But you made it, and to come into this world and to make your life a mess like that, right? I wonder, is that the way it's supposed to be? That some people will just end up on Skid Row while others don't end up in that kind of position?
My thinking is this, perhaps. I'll tell you why. Because of your first statement. If there's a heaven, this guy's bound to make it. So, you know, he ain't offending with nobody. He's just living life. You know, and Blau calls him the mayor. The mayor of Blackberry.
The mayor of Blackberry.
Yes. So, you know, just perhaps, like you said, maybe he's going straight to heaven if there's a heaven.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's guaranteed. Yeah, because he can't get any worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have people like you and me now who have all our faculties in place, and we're the ones now who are trying to, instead of being nice, like Manford.
Yeah.
He has an opportunity, he brings back the change for you.
Yeah.
You know, Damon, that's one of my tests, you know, for when it comes to females. Yeah, I tell you, you know, go ahead, buy a drink, let me see what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Will you bring the change back for me?
Bring the change back for you.
That one is freaky for him, Andre. I always like, wow, he just brings back your change. Yeah, look at change. But of course he wants it. But it's what you give him, he accepts.
He will, yeah. So talk about integrity, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a guy and his partner there who has the car wash in the Leclerc area there.
Right.
Tony, no matter what it is in the vehicle, he brings it back. He brings it back to you.
Very, very nice.
Yeah,
Very
he said, I found this, I found that.
Right. While vacuuming and so.
Yeah.
It speaks of someone's character, no matter what situation that they've fallen into. Maybe it's hard times and so on. It speaks of him and his character. That's how he is as a person. And for some individuals, they're just thieves.
Yeah. There's a guy one time was washing my vehicle, and that was at a car wash. In other words, that's a company, a serious business, right? And I remember I bought some stuff, I think, for Nairobi and siblings and so on. You know, little things to eat and enjoy. And I left the thing in the car. You know, the guy ate everything. He ate everything. When I came, I said, but hey, partner, what happened there? I had the stuff there for some children. He said to me he was hungry.
What?
I was hungry.
And you paid him still?
No. I mean, I complained. I told the boss man what had happened.
He must be gone.
No.
Yeah, they fired this guy
You
right
were
away.
hungry, so you decided to eat what's in.
Yeah, took the kids' thing, little things, you know, that for children, and tip everything. Anyway, so
He
so
wanted
you see,
to go back in time. He remember his childhood days. Was
maybe so. Yeah, but so you know, those of us who have all our faculties in place there, we're the ones who are forming the fool, right?
Yeah,
And
some of
God
us.
is going to require that from all of us at some point. There, he said, at least Manford, you know, he wasn't of right mind, of sound mind, but you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You had all your faculties in place. You knew exactly what you were doing is wrong, and you still
And you
did
still
it
did
anyway.
anyways, yes.
Right? You see it happening in our world. These fellas on the world stage, they just don't seem to care. They don't give a hoot who gets hurt, who dies, who's injured, right? Who lose limb. It doesn't matter to them. These people on the world stage, these leaders, and taking the world on almost brink of a third world war. This is mad. I know you guys follow this stuff.
Not necessarily.
It's
but
crazy.
It's strange, Andre. Yesterday, within our gathering, the subject of discussion was exactly that.
It
Believe
would
it
be.
or
It
not.
would be.
The guys actually discussed that for a little while, and we were
Yeah,
like,
this is serious.
Yeah.
It is very
You're talking about a world teetering on the brink of a third world war, Tony, as we speak. You guys need to be, you know, keeping up to date with those things.
Yeah.
Hey, next thing you know, nuclear war break out, and you just gone, Tony. You don't know why you gone. It's really serious. The guys went there. Trump, you know, as always saying one thing, doing something else. The fellas just went there and bomb Iran, bomb all their facilities, the so-called nuclear facilities and so on. Just bomb the place, right? And then they come back and say, let's talk peace now.
yeah.
After the bomb?
After the bomb, let's talk peace.
Nah.
The guys were supposed to talk peace on Sunday. Israel decides to stop that. They ruin the discussions by bombing Iran, right? So Iran retaliates. So Trump now, these fellas are all friends and so on, and talking foolishness. This guy called Ted Cruz, he was in an interview talking about how Israel is God's chosen people. No, that foolishness.
We're still on that again. I get, that whole thing makes me uneasy. The decision to just, bomb Iran. I get like leaders have to make tough decisions, but really, that wasn't a tough decision to make. Where does it end? When does it end?
Well, I tell you what, Iran says that they're going to respond. They're going to respond because it's about deterrence. If they don't respond and they just act as though, well, we take it on the chin and so let it pass, America, it emboldens them. It emboldens Israel. They think as though that they can do what they want. So the guys say they're going to respond. But here's the problem. If they respond, America will respond.
America will respond. And not only that, this is already a humanitarian crisis happening right there before our eyes. Families are being torn apart and so much is happening. I don't think that the world is ready for another war.
This is crazy.
We are not ready for it. It's just...
So I was just saying there a while ago with the Manford situation, who's in that place where he is. When you compare that to people who are supposed to be in a much better place, instead of doing good and so on, they use their positions of authority to do a whole bunch of evil, man.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, how was your weekend, Tony? It was nice?
As Komla Kutim.
Yeah,
as usual. Yeah, really, really nice.
And you had a nice weekend?
What did you say?
Komla Kutim.
What is that?
As usual.
Oh, that's the first time I'm hearing.
That's the super girl talking to you there.
Me being from super has nothing to do with anything.
It has a lot to do with this.
Don't go there. Don't.
How you mean don't go there?
Don't go there. Let's not.
So you try and tell me.
Let's not.
But I'm going to go there.
You could go there, but I'll ignore.
Okay, fine. No problem. You try and tell me. But let me talk to Tony. You've come from I'm in a place where most people speak the Creole and so on. At least when I can get away with that. I'm in the city, right? You haven't heard about Kumlaketim?
No, maybe I have, but
Why
I
responding?
can't remember.
Why are you responding?
But no,
Why are you
I
responding?
don't think so.
Don't respond. Don't respond.
I don't think so.
Kumlaketim.
I wasn't really listening to my parents and grandparents and those older than me during their conversations. I was with my friends chilling.
All right. Talking about that, Tony, on the weekend, Friday, I went down to Industry Schwazel. And boy, Tony and Keena, first time I ever went in my life.
Oh, yes, right.
Industry Schwazel?
Yeah, first time I went in my life. And let me say good morning to DJ Fatboy. Because DJ Fatboy realized there's no way I would find that place on my own.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
It was that difficult.
I would never find it.
Anthony had it covered. a joke, all right?
He had a plan, a map as to how to get there. Let me tell you something, Tony.
On his phone?
No, on a piece of paper.
Are you serious, Anthony? You go, boy. You Dora the Explorer.
We would never.
I'm so happy he
So
didn't
thank
have
God
a map.
DJ Fatboy, right, who was thinking outside the box. He said, something, let me wait for Andre. He waited for us in Soufrière.
Area.
Yeah, in Soufrière.
Okay.
You know where the church is, right?
Whatever.
So, have a sip on that.
I know, right? I'm going to drink some water and mind my business right now. Like literally.
Probably she forgot or something, Anything is possible. So Fatboy we did for us there. And Tony, oh my God, that's a good thing the man did that. Let me tell you, Tony, we went down. It wasn't upper. Down. I tell you, all the way downhill. Monsieur, that road down there. And the road is narrow.
Okay.
Super narrow.
Okay.
Vehicles were coming up, had to make room. Go up on some hill or something. Park on the side as best as they could to get down to that place. Monsieur, what?
So, in other words, it's far.
It's far.
Okay.
Tony, it took us 2 hours to get there from Castries. From Castries.
2 hours?
From Castries, huh? From Castries. So it took an hour to get to Soufrière and another hour to get down there. I'm serious. We left Castries at 2 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. We got to the place in Industry 11 o'clock.
Monsieur?
Yeah.
So why Soufrière? Because, Industry Schwazel is before. Oh, you used the West
Coast
Road.
That's right. So you went through Soufrière, went to Victoria,
Gotcha.
and then you go down to Industry. We would, and let me tell you something. We had to get a guide to come back up because we'd never
be able to.
Never.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank God,
Fat boy.
somebody was nice enough to lead the way, and I said, "Money, j'aime mon corps." J'aime mon corps.
Don't trust Anthony.
I think Anthony did the right thing. What he thought he knew he could have done.
But the residents, they were nice to Tony. Very, very nice, very friendly and everything. And they actually said to me, I must come back a little more often.
How was it the turnout?
It was good. I mean, honestly, when I saw the place, how the distance, I said, no people are going to come and have for that vibe. And I was surprised when I went inside there.
Okay.
They actually had a good crowd.
Okay.
I was like, wow. So the place is called Desired View Villa Industry. And a young lady actually is the one who is the owner.
Okay.
A young lady,
That's great.
probably like maybe early 30s, somewhere around there. Yeah, an entrepreneur, man.
Okay.
An
That's good.
entrepreneur.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah. And by the way, Tony, our signal loud and clear,
Aha.
all the way down there.
Imagine
loud
that, huh?
Industry.
and clear.
Shruzel. All right.
Loud and clear. So,
All
Fat
right.
Boy, I know he's listening right now. Thank you very much, partner. But it's gonna take It's gonna take a miracle for me to come down there in a hurry. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Anything you guys want to mention before we move on? I have a few little announcements I have to make.
Always-
Thinking still, but go ahead with your announcement.
Right. Right.
Lenny Stone, his funeral is today.
Oh.
Yeah, singer Lenny Stone. The funeral is at 2:30 this afternoon at the cathedral. So I'll be going for sure. God willing.
great.
I'll be
Okay.
going to that funeral for sure.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be giving the eulogy.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And a few other people will make a few speeches and so on.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so I was asked to do that by his daughter, who last time I saw her, she was a little girl. Yeah, she
Now,
called me
a grown woman.
a grown woman. Yeah, I haven't seen her in many years. She lives in Canada, I think.
Oh.
So most likely I'll see her this afternoon.
Okay, at the funeral. All
Yeah.
right.
That's my little girl.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So another great solution musician. He's gone, and he made his contribution. So I'll be talking about him during the eulogy. My interactions with him over the period of time that we're actually in the band together.
Can you
Okay.
just spare just 1 minute?
Sure.
I played the Francis Regis song with Marvel.
Which one?
Bava.
Bava. Yes.
So he probably did the lead vocals on that one.
No. Stone. No, he wasn't.
No, not Stone. I kind of gone past Lenny Stone for a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Because Francis Regis, did you ever have the opportunity to play with him?
No,
Never.
No, but I know for sure I was a big fan. I mean,
Okay.
when these guys used to be playing, I'd be there.
Right.
Back in the day.
You remember how many different bands? It was Sounds Together. There was also Marvel, and I think another one that the fellas mentioned. Somebody, people were mentioning that he was he formed. Right.
Well, one of the songs I like by him, Wild World. Remember? Yeah. Oh baby, it's a wild world.
Oh, he sang that.
There's a version of that they did, reggae version.
Really?
Sounds really good.
Okay.
Really, really good. But I suspect if you do find those on YouTube, maybe a lot of dust on that. Yeah, most likely.
All right.
Yeah, but these were the bands, Tony, back in the day. Yeah, these were the bands, along of course with True Tones and all them. They were around. They were the popular ones.
Yeah. Sunsetters was not quite up there yet.
because remember back in the day, Tony, we didn't have all the things that we have today to play with. We'll have toys and so. When I say toys, I mean computers and it was just the most
instruments.
Yeah, and there was a lot of musicians.
Right.
So this is what we grew up seeing, and these were our role models.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And we wanted to be like them. Yes, but now children have so many other things. I remember I was at Nairobi's baptism. A whole bunch of young people were there, and to hear the new kinds of positions that now are available at business places, all kinds of things that I said, boy, where this come from? Where that come from? Yeah, all kind of fancy names and so on. Things have changed a lot, a lot. Yeah. Okay, just a reminder again to our the listeners who had called in and participated in the Father's Day special that we had. We should be having all the prizes this week for sure.
Right.
Want to make sure we got all the prizes together, and then now we'll inform Angel Without Wings that we are ready, so we can have those cakes tasting nice and fresh.
Oh, great.
Okay, so hopefully by Wednesday we should have everything together. We'll make the announcement.
Right.
All right.
Right on.
Okay, so don't forget the action is at the Tommaso Bread Place as always. There's carrot rice today, ground provisions, creamy mashed potatoes, Yeah, stewed turkey, stewed bags, lentils, and tossed salad. is that finger cutting?
Finger cutting good. Yeah, man. Stew bags is always finger cutting good.
No, stewed turkey.
Stew turkey?
Stewed turkey and stew bags.
Oh, stew bags as well.
I know.
You
I
heard the
had
bags.
stew bags.
Strange enough, maybe I just focus on the turkey. My favorite thing.
You like it?
I don't like turkey.
Wait. Stewed turkey wing?
Yes. I like it.
Stew turkey,
I like it.
yeah.
I like it.
Not my favorite.
Especially when it's nice and soft. Some of them are a little dry.
You ever had turkey? You ever went to a restaurant, placed an order for turkey and not had, you can't.
Yeah. I don't like it.
That's a turn off. A complete turn off for me. Like,
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
So I think the fear that you may get one.
Yes.
Like that kind of, see me, let me just stay away from that for today. But when you get a nice taste in turkey, it tastes really good. Yeah. When we were growing up, turkeys were all over the place. Remember, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
They were all over the place.
We had them. Yeah.
And then
Oh
what we
my
do,
God,
Tony,
I wasn't
is
ready.
It will make noise.
Yes.
So to get
So
a
that they would
reaction.
make noise.
Yeah.
Right.
You go, hey.
Yeah. Beverly Ann Henry.
Can't say you
Bakery.
didn't have boy days, huh?
Yeah, Beverly Ann said to me she used to be so afraid of them.
A turkey, really?
Yeah, man. Is it a turkey or the ducks? I can't quite remember.
We had ducks, a lot of ducks
Yeah.
as well.
My brother had ducks when I was younger.
So ducks, what do you call the fowl?
Fowls, that's right. The yard fowls.
The yard fowl.
Yard fowl.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to go and
Yep.
run. You have to run to catch that.
Yeah, man.
So you can get it cooked that day.
That's
You
right.
got to catch it.
Yeah.
And that thing will
And
give
you
you.
have to pluck it. That's usually,
Yeah.
And these things would, they go underneath the house, all kinds of things.
Oh,
so you have to
gosh,
go
yes.
in and try and get a frost stone after it to make sure it go outside.
right.
Wait on the other side to capture
That's
it.
right.
Because you want to eat chicken, boy.
Mm-hmm.
You all did all of that?
Yard fowl. Oh yeah. Capture it. Maybe tie it. Yeah. Or put it in the cage.
When you're ready for it, just put it away, like have it tied somewhere so you know, hey, that
But you have to
chicken-
catch it.
You have to catch it first.
Yeah. When Catherine used to cook the fowl, the yard fowl, it takes hours, to cook this thing.
Yes.
To get it
meat
tender,
hard.
nice
Yeah,
and
because
tender.
because
Right.
this is talk about exercise.
Yeah.
These things running about the place there. These things are fit. So this is what's happening at the Tomaso bread place today. Carrot rice, ground provisions, creamy mashed potatoes, stewed turkey, stew bags, lentils, and tossed salad. Now,
Creamy
folks,
mashed
that's the
potatoes.
real food. This is food. Okay, I know junk papi show thing. This is food, and that's what we're supposed to be putting in our system,
Yeah.
right? The body recognizes it. And says,
And not only that, Yaslin gives a lot
yeah,
for the money.
Yes, she does.
She doesn't play when it comes to the servings of what she gives.
Yeah, so two things she does. She gives a lot, and she works hard for the money.
Good morning, Yaslin. Happy Monday. Kisses. Mwah.
So don't forget the usual sea moss flavors. Coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch, and regular sea moss with flaxseed and chia seeds. All right? That's at the Tomaso bread place. All right. So, Tony and Keena, what's happening there in the Calypso arena? Is it there's some controversy as regards certain people who didn't make it to the semifinals?
There will always be that. And
I
in
agree.
particular, for if you're singing against, let's just say against the government, or you're singing political songs, all right, you'll always find that. But maybe the judges find that the songs didn't have nothing. That's the only thing I could say, Andre. But there was always, every single year,
yes.
there would be controversy. Imagine so much so that a number of years ago, Lord Jackson,
I was thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
yes, he actually came up with a song called 19. Because every time you go through the quarterfinals, which is the tent that decides who goes through to the quarterfinals, a tent could have something like 20-something Calypsonians, and they have to choose something like maybe 12, 13, somewhere around there. So they're going to cut you off because they realize your material is probably not good enough to go to the
Right,
quarterfinals.
to
So
get
the
to the next
tent,
round.
your tent, for example, meaning your tent would be a TOT village. That's your tent. They decide that, and not the committee or anybody decides who's not going. Your tent decides that. And then when you go through from the quarterfinals to the semifinals now, they choose 18 And that's where Jackson had the song called 19. Every time he has to see the score sheet, he plays that 19. So he does not go to the semifinals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Every year we deal with that. Every single year.
every single
Every year.
I remember there's a year he had the song Kenny and Company. Remember that song?
Top song.
But that was a top song. And he didn't make it to the final. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. And people were asking, but how come Jackson didn't make it?
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's just one song that he had
No,
that was
that-
really, really
It
powerful.
could be a
be that
number
too.
of things.
Yes.
Sometimes we do not know what the criteria is for judging. So on the outside, that's what maybe our favorite. We love the song. Maybe viewing on television, okay, well, he did really, really well. But what's happening right there in real time, what the judges are seeing, what they're hearing is different.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we have to respect their decision and their choices and the structure they've put in place as well.
Wow.
Because they work really hard too. Yeah.
Talk about them working hard, the judges.
Yeah.
Andre 4/10 the judge. Quarter-finals. That long. You understand? While the Calypsonians are finished singing their song, they're writing and judging and giving the marks and so on. So the MC have to wait for their signal to say, well, okay, yes, we're ready. Because you know what I mean? It's marking and the person singing,
Yeah.
So sometimes, and Andrew, I heard Claude Paul talking about it on the news this morning. The highest and the lowest scores are dismissed. Well, that for me, either I don't understand it well enough. Maybe it speaks for itself. Maybe it's clear. If Andre Paul marks Kakao, just like that, just Kakao, high, because Andre Paul figure, that's a top song, 2 top songs, so I mark it high. Does his entire, for example, I give Kakao a 10 on presentation, a 10 on vocals, you know what I mean? Do you dismiss the whole score sheet that I wrote as one of the judges? Or you say, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's straightforward, Andrea.
It's
Keena,
pretty
maybe
much straightforward and
You
it seems
just
to
dismiss
work.
it.
The structure they've put in place is working without any bias. So I guess we have to respect that as well.
But this judging thing has always been a controversial one.
Yeah.
It's as old as Calypso is.
Exactly.
It's every year you have that problem, especially when you have these political songs and so on, which the people seem to embrace.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Tony, did you hear the roaring of the crowd there for when Kakao sang that song?
Mwetela.
Oh, okay, well, good. They
was
went
there.
I wasn't there and I could hear it in the recording.
Yeah, I
they were
was
going
there.
crazy.
Yes. Because of the construction, so
Yeah.
to speak, of
Yeah.
the song, you know what I mean? That is for Curry, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, people were just freaking out. It's like,
Is
wow.
crowd response high on the
No.
I don't think
I
so.
think
maybe
for,
that's
for
why.
power and groovy,
So
I think it
could
is.
be
But for
one of the
Calypso,
reasons as well.
no, not very, very high. Crowd response,
no,
not very
so it's
high for
not.
Calypso.
And and there's some of these political calypsos, right, which probably even made it as for Calypso Monarch was chosen from those songs, especially country like Trinidad and so on. And you know what happens? These songs, I remember back in the day, would be banned. Yeah, especially if they were critical of the administration,
Right.
the incumbent.
Right.
They'd be banned.
They did that in Antigua, Andre. Mistake with King Obstinate. You remember, I come in down to
talk to you.
you.
Yeah.
We were there and we were jamming that song, boy, because he's talking about the birds. You know,
Yeah.
of all your picnic, all your children, you'll have Ivor the most because the others just waiting to take your post. Let me talk, Mr. Bird, before things get
That's
worse.
a bad song, boy.
Andre,
That's
top
bad.
song.
Bad.
So, boy, because talking about the government and the birds, boy, Andre, all radio stations ban that. They banned the song.
It's not the radio station banning it. These are orders from on top.
Exactly.
Yeah, orders. Yeah, orders.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Ban
they
the
ain't played.
song.
They ain't played.
Andre, huge mistake. Obstinate go on the night, sing that, and win.
Exactly. Despite the fact that it was banned.
Exactly.
Because people loved it.
Yeah, people love it and
And
they
he
want to
made it
hear
come
it
out,
because
yeah.
now that it's banned on the
Swinging
radio, you
too.
don't get to hear it. So you go to the finals to listen to him sing it.
Yeah.
And man, but people went off on Andre and he won it, man.
And whether it's a calypso, whether it's a talk show host and so on, who is critical of the incumbent, the minute the person is not lying, right, Tony? You're not lying. You're not out to destroy anybody. You're just calling out the facts as you see them. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say the facts. But you take a look at the situation, you realize, hey, that thing needs to be amplified.
Yeah.
That what these guys are doing there. Instead of embracing the thing as a way of improving on your service to the people when you just ignore and reject it, right? Eventually, people will ignore and reject you as well.
Or you're a talk show host, as you said about talk show hosts and so on, and looking at the situation, things in the country, the news, and you just simply spin it.
well. Now that's a different thing. If you're spinning,
If you're spinning, it's a different thing.
yeah. But if you
pardon the pun.
yeah, yeah. But if you as I said, it's a legitimate concern or concerns, plural, as the case may be. The politicians, although I find, Tony, they've kind of changed a little, huh? I find even now you have the politicians actually attending tents and so on, and the fellas that they give them endless memes, and they take it.
It's all
They
part
take
of
it.
the culture.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, boy. Well, again, I imagine you as a Calypsonian, see you put all that hard work into a song, to sing that song with all your life and all you give it everything you got,
Right.
and you don't even make semifinals.
That's right.
Oh,
and the
man.
thing about the business of Calypso and, of course, soca and so on, the further you go into competition, the more money that you are able to get.
You're able to get.
Yeah. Let me give a big shout out to Reggie McGowan. Hi, Reggie. Nice to have you here, man. He's on Facebook.
Okay, Reggie.
And that's the thing with competition, you never know. You could put out your best work, but that doesn't mean that your best work is what the judges embrace and the general public embraces.
Yeah,
For you, it might
very
be
true.
something that I worked so hard to put together, and then you come out there and you give it. But the choice still remains with the judges and the general public, whether they're going to embrace it or not. It's something that happens all the time.
I wonder if, for example, when a Calypsonian is about to put a song together, wouldn't it be a good thing maybe to get a copy of the criteria that
I'm
is
sure
being,
they do.
being used, and take a look at it and see whatever it is that you're producing conforms to that criteria, and then you produce a song.
I'm sure some of them, perhaps.
That is well said. And Keena, that too. Some do. Some, Andre, if you give a, if you care. I was going to use the phrase, if you give a hoot. If you care about the art form and you love it that much, Andre, you would want to know about the categories, the various categories in which you are judged. And according to you, you're right towards that. According to the categories and so on.
You know what? I would love to know what the formula was for the likes of Pep and many before him, because they've won time and time again. I would love to know what his formula was for winning so many times. Even Papa Veda, even Ashanti as well.
Yes.
I'd love to know what the formula was, because over the years we haven't seen that many people, Calypsonians, doing the same.
It's just like, for example, maybe I know it's a bad example, but you have the banks. You want to get a loan or something, and the bank will tell you, here's what
The requirements.
The requirements for the loan.
And once you bring the requirements, they'll give you the loan.
It's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people disagree and say other things, but I think you're right.
Once you meet the requirements, they tell you that's what we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's the thing, Andre, some Calypsos and Calypsonians, you go there, something goes wrong on the night, and they tell you that, they say on the night, I never even thought I would go through because that went wrong, this went wrong.
Yes.
So, but the judges probably saw something else, and they mark you nicely, so you go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it will be interesting, very, very interesting as far as I'm concerned. The Calypsonians study the requirements and write according to that. There's double we say entendre here, double entendre. There's that, what you're looking for, like a cacao song, which has a bit of that, It's for curry. So you're going to buy a quarry, and then everything that they're going to need for that is for curry.
Yes,
So
that's for curry.
he'll make some money. It's Andre. Also, I'm so glad you asked that. I do not think Trish went through, and is going through to the semis. I do not think so. I have it there. I'll check it out.
I don't think I saw her name on
Right.
there. I don't think I did. There were so many from the TOT I remember seeing.
Right.
A few of them made it into the semifinals.
Right. So I thought her song, Bowl for Comfort, Andre, the song is so funny.
Yes, it is.
The first
Yes,
time I
it
heard
is.
you play this, Andre, I laugh. But it is seen, there's a thing, Andre and Keena, in the tents called a tent song. The tents open, you sing that, everybody in the air. But how the judge is going to judge that? You have to bowl for comfort. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. I
What's that?
understand,
What,
yeah.
in a sense, what's that? You know what I mean? That's a tent song. It's a fun song. So these are among some of the reasons why a Calypsonian would wonder, well, how I make that my song nice? Everybody like my song. It's not a
Yeah, but everybody could
competition
like
song.
that song, but that doesn't mean it fits the criteria that the judges are
Exactly.
looking for, and that's what we're saying.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Well, again,
And whether that
Sorry.
song is marketable as well, that's something else
All
too.
of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
all we could say to whether it's Kakal or others who are still struggling in the arena, just don't give up. Don't give up if you really love the art form. And
It hard, yeah, Andre.
but we have to think of people like Herb Black, Tony,
Mhm.
Yeah.
who was there struggling for years and years and years. Right? Remember, people kept saying, "Why is it that Herb Black wasn't getting the crown?" It took him a
It took
long
him a
time.
while before he won.
And remember when he finally made it, Tony? He made it big.
Big. Won everything.
he won
Yeah.
From
everything.
Groovy Soca Monarch to Road March
Everything.
to Calypso Monarch, he won the 3.
And there's a time for everything, though. Sometimes you put in all the hard work for a number of years, but it also speaks of growth as well. You're growing as an individual. You're growing with your writing. You're growing with your delivery. You're growing with your performance as well. So sometimes, as much as you've been in and working so hard behind the scenes, maybe there's a little bit more work that you need to do. And to everyone out there who feels, okay, you know what, left behind every year, I'm putting this out, it's costing me so much money, keep trying. You just never know. And
Yeah.
Andre rightly said he used Herb Black
Okay.
as an example, and there are many others as well.
Okay, so Herb Black. Herb Black came at a time, Andre and Keena, when there was a few that y'all mentioned. Pep, top of his game, one with something like 8 crowns or
8
something
crowns,
like that,
I
right?
believe, yeah.
Pep. So he's competing with Pep. Ashanti.
Another great.
Oh gosh, Papa Veda.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Those are 3 Calypso champions in
Yes.
St. Lucia. And of course, then came the younger ones as well, who just kind of like your Bachelor and so on, who just blew T.C. Brown, who just, so it's like, whoa, okay. And eventually, like y'all said, Herb Black won. But it was really difficult.
It was
The
tough
time.
competition back then too.
That's
tough.
why I mentioned those. The competition
Yeah.
was really, really tough.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I said, let's not give up. I know it's rough. It's rough. That's why you see, Tony, those kinds of things. I don't enter those kinds of competitions because I know. I'm sorry. I've said it a million times already. I can't take
You're a sore
rejection.
loser.
I know, yeah. It's true. I am. I can't take this kind of thing. So unless you see I'm not reasonably confident that I'll make it, I ain't going in that, man. You'll be
Well,
dealing
you
with
can't
that kind
ever
of
be confident that you'll make it. It's not a chance.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I
You
just
just have to come with your best self and the best game, the best
yeah.
vocals too.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, boy. All right. Well, wish them all the best. So we have the
Yeah.
semifinals
Yeah.
coming up. What date is that,
Isn't it
Tony?
this weekend?
Sunday.
Right.
This coming Sunday.
And the Power and Groovy is Friday. Friday afternoon, evening kind of line, 6, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
That's another really good one.
Mhm.
People go to that and it's like a party.
Party.
You know what I mean?
start to
Because the
finish.
songs are
Yeah.
hot, groovy and
High
power.
energy. Yes.
Let's say bravo to all our artists here in St. Lucia, whether in the Calypso, Groovy, or Power. I mean, man.
A
The
lot of
songs that
music.
have been
A lot of
released over the
music.
last
My
couple of
gosh,
weeks
man.
and months. Oh my God.
I mean, good
Top-notch.
quality stuff.
Very cool
Top notch, as
quality.
you said there.
Mhm.
Wow, can't beat that. Can't
You don't
beat that.
even know. Sometimes I hear the vocals and I'm thinking, wait, is this person from St. Louis?
It's true, it's true.
Right.
Oh,
And I'm
true.
blown away.
Oh, that's another
Very,
one.
very,
I
yeah.
think we touched on that last week or week before, Andre and Keena. Well, you mentioned it, right. So we did touch on it just a little bit. The vocalists that are coming out of St. Lucia these days and going into Calypso, pretty good.
Oh yeah, and the same for Groovy and Power as well.
That's right.
And we have some versatility in there as well. We have Desrel who does Power, and he's a Calypsonian. We also have the Mighty Sizzler who actually made it to the semifinals.
Right.
He has a Calypso song
And
and
a
he has
soca.
a Groovy song as well. What are you doing?
Yes.
He has that
What are
song.
you
So
doing?
you have so many of our artists. They're very versatile.
Right.
You just never know what they're gonna bring to the
That's
and
right.
Kakao. Remember both Calypso and Power.
Power Soca.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ninja Dan can do Groovy Power as well. A very versatile artist in St. Lucia, and I'm so proud of him and what
I
they're
am
bringing
as
to the
well.
table.
Good job. It's just a pity that they take a break after Carnival and you don't really hear from them until next
Some
year.
of them
That's
do
just a pity.
release after,
Yeah.
the Imran Nerdies, Arthur releases
Well, Arthur for sure.
as
Yeah.
well, and there are others that releases. I think Arthur tries to release year round,
A year round.
pretty much.
I hope the others follow suit and do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, but it's costly
Right.
too. So maybe that's a reason why.
That's true.
It's really costly.
After
to go
Carnival,
into
you
studio
spend
and record. You spend
so much money. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Okay, so let's move on to some other things. I will mention it earlier, but we really have to spare a thought for the suffering that has been experienced by those people in Gaza as we speak, right? Where aid is being denied and food and this kind of thing, and taking of so many lives on a daily basis, right? We just have to spare thought for those people. I was so happy this morning when I read that CARICOM actually came out with a statement, and condemning what's going on there. Some very, very tough language. They said that they deplore and condemn the immense suffering and the tragic loss of civilian lives, especially women and children in Gaza, and with more deaths every day and a continued inability to access food and humanitarian assistance. The bombardment and deprivation of basic necessities violate international humanitarian law. This is being done by Israel with the help of the United States, with the help of the United Kingdom, with the help of Canada, European countries. They all assisting in this craziness taking place there. And that makes you wonder, right? These are the people who are supposed to be leading the world, leading the charge for human rights and this sort of thing, and protection of children. And you have these same people providing weapons and all kinds of material to ensure that Israel can win that war against Hamas, despite the fact that so many innocent people are dying. This is crazy, and I just cannot even believe that these people who give you the impression that they are law-abiding citizens for the most part, right, and have no shame whatsoever in doing what they're doing there. It's terrible to be doing that to a people and saying it's, because Israel have a right to defend themselves.
Nah, it's really, really terrible. You want to say something else?
Yes, just quickly. For me, Andre, I did say that yesterday it was the first subject of discussion. Imagine that, Andre. One of the things
call me,
one of the things the guy said is that, Andre, you've articulated it a number of times, Andre. These people simply are heartless.
Yeah, that's right.
The guys were saying that they just don't care about another human life.
Yeah, well, certain human lives.
Well, true.
Okay, certain human lives.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact that is the Palestinians, they see all of them as cockroaches, that sort of thing, that they're not important. But we the black people especially have to remember our history. Okay? And it's these same people, these same individuals, right? Their ancestors, they're the ones. So they have that colonial mentality. And they think that they're in control of the world and can do what they want. And now this is accompanied by some henchmen there in the White House. Henchmen, not man, henchmen. There are a whole bunch of them, right? That they know what they do and they have no shame whatsoever. I've seen these fellas there when they appear before what select committee and so on. And these guys, let me tell you, the people are pressuring these guys, the Rubio and Hegseth and all of them. Pressure, licks in these fellas' skin. These fellas have no shame. They point out all the bad things that they are doing. They fellas just sit there like they don't give a hoot about what you say.
You know what's that's something that you really can't unsee, or something that you really can't unfeel, because as broadcasters or radio personalities, you see the headlines. And then you're about to, come have a talk set on it. You're having, or maybe for Andre, he's reading the news, to kind of just be there and to read that without no emotion coming from you. It takes a lot, because you do feel it. You feel it in your core. You feel it in your being. And I'm just happy that CARICOM is doing something about it. They have spoken out about it, and we're coming together collectively to say, you know what, this is a humanitarian crisis. This can't continue. Bravo to them, because we're seeing the images we can't unsee. You can't unsee these images.
And there are people now who do not watch it.
Yeah.
You have a group of people who refuse to watch it. They say
I don't.
They can't deal with it.
Reading it is a lot for me to process, far less if I see the images. So
and the images are bad. They're really, really bad. Especially, I tell you, I watch the stuff there on YouTube where they show you stuff that the BBC and CNN would not show you. So I see the thing. I see it. It's raw. It's raw.
The guys spoke about that as well yesterday.
Oh, they did?
Andrea, I tell you, it went on for a while, talking about what's going on there with the Gaza, one is Israel, two, and of course Iran now.
Yes, exactly.
The guys, we touched on all of that.
Can you imagine, Tony, this gentleman there, and I use the word gentleman very, very lightly or guardedly, the Donald Trump, telling the people in Iran to get out. Get out. The people, 10 million people trying to flee.
That's scary.
Right? The capital, trying to flee. And for what? He just said that just so.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. that he's just displaced people there who have to now find some place to get shelter or whatever. Just it's like almost like you're saying he's telling St. Lucians, get out of the city.
Yes.
And now we have to go some other
You have
places
to try
in
to
St.
find
Lucia
somewhere
to go. You know,
Yeah, to
vacate the place. And then he said, oh, he's going to make up his mind within 2 weeks.
Oh, my
Within
God.
2 days, 2 days, right? You go and you use the stealth bombers, by the way.
Bomber, yeah.
Them stealth bombers.
Yeah.
And the way he did it too, that was very secretly done. Nobody knew that he would. I guess they had plans about
Yes,
it and
yes.
they were putting it off for a while. But even J.D. Vance came out and J.D. Vance said he didn't know that was going to happen. It just happened,
it's a 30,000 pound bomb. You know what it is?
Oh my God.
So the stealth bombers are the only ones that can carry that kind of payload.
Yeah.
So they drop those things, and that goes deep down into the crust of the earth, right? To destroy those facilities that they say.
Underground,
Right.
yeah.
More they tell them the fellas are not enriching uranium to the point where they can produce a nuclear bomb. Trump is not hearing anything.
No, but for me, I'm trying to figure out what's
Anything.
the plan here. Because right now it's not about politics anymore. It's beyond that. People are actually suffering, and they have been for weeks now.
And the thing is, right? You have Israel that's starting all this roro,
Yes.
Okay, and they say they're responding to Hamas attack and so on. And I understand that. I don't support that at all. I'm against that. But there's something called humanitarian law, right?
Yes.
You when you're conducting your operations, you have to abide by the laws, what the laws say, how far you can and cannot go. Once you start killing innocent people, you have to say, hey, or at least if you don't say it, somebody else, meaning the United States, England, those countries, Canada, supposed to say, hey, you can, will not support that anymore. But no,
Somebody needs
they
to think
continue
about the
to
people
support it.
on the ground. Because there are people on the
The
ground.
people
There
are
are
suffering.
families, there are children
People are
on the
suffering.
ground.
It's
they are
like
suffering. Someone needs to think about them before.
When I want to go and do number 2, right? I want to do number 2 unhindered. I want to be able to go there and I have to worry about somebody being inside there. You know what? For them people to do number 2, Tony, they have to take a line.
Yes.
A line. You have children, little children, right? Who want to do number 2.
They have to wait.
And they have to wait. They have to wait. Oh, you're talking about probably hundreds of people who want to go and do number 2 at the same time.
That is.
They're living in tents. The sewage system is destroyed. I mean, everything has been destroyed. Everything has been destroyed there in Gaza. Israel doing that sort of thing.
And Andrew, for the benefit of those
My
who
gosh, man.
perhaps have no idea why or because they don't care, you have given the story. I've heard it a few times, and it's like this. The bottom line, and basically, it's like Israel has taken over the Palestinians' land, right? And they are in charge, and they do what they want to do and give what they want to give to the people in their own. So they have total control.
That's right.
Of the Palestinians. The Palestinians hate that, so they sort of decided, something. Let's do something.
Yeah.
And then they
hence Hamas.
Hamas, yes,
Yeah.
Hamas.
Yeah.
Not necessarily,
All of them,
right,
exactly.
but Hamas, that group of people called Hamas,
Yeah.
all right, who are supposedly what, terrorists? I think they
Well, that's what America
That's what they're saying.
Label
labels
them
them
as.
as terrorists.
Been labeled
Right.
as,
Yeah.
So that's what they did. They went into they didn't go into Israel, but they started bombing Israel first, and Israel is just retaliating without cease.
No, but we've seen
Without
that time and
ceasing.
time again that if you play with fire, what you think is going to happen? The
But-
region is already so fragile.
Yeah, but what we're
You
saying,
know.
and what Andrew has been talking about for well over close to a year now, Andrew,
Yeah.
About
is
that.
that there is just excessive force
It is.
and continuous.
Yeah.
It's just not stopping.
It's going to
And-
spiral out of
and
control
and
before
spreading.
anything gets
Right.
better.
Instead of stopping, it's
Yeah.
spreading.
Spreading,
It's
right.
spreading.
Spreading. Because nobody's stopping Israel.
Right.
Why? Because America is
America,
supporting them.
yeah.
And now
And everybody's
America has,
afraid.
bombed, that's going to spiral somewhere else, maybe the United States as well. So
If I
see how
were
that goes.
if I were an advisor,
Hopefully not, but
if I were an advisor to the Iranian government, I tell them, listen, just chill, leave that alone. But they say they're going to respond.
Yeah.
As to what that
did
response
say they
is,
will
you know,
respond.
if
We
they
don't
respond,
know what it's going to be.
America will respond
Oh
a
my gosh.
million times worse. And that, where does that stop? Now, we got some problems. Listen, if Iran decides to, what they call, seal off or cut off what they call the Strait of Hormuz, this is where all that oil and stuff passes through, and, right? if they decide to do that, this is going to create a lot of problems, you know. The cost of oil will increase. And let me say, America doesn't care. They don't care because they figure we have oil.
That's not all, Andre. The other thing the guys were saying yesterday, like I tell you, man, it was deep, you know what I mean, and quite lengthy as well, is that they would do that to make that happen as well. So when the oil and everything price goes up, the rich benefits.
Well, that's the thing.
That's
so,
the thing,
So,
yeah.
so let's say what they say: when two elephants fight, it's the ants underneath their feet
That's right.
that get hurt. So they don't care. America and these other countries see the world as them, just them.
Just them.
They don't realize countries like St. Lucia,
World news tonight. All the news is about America.
America, yeah.
America. World champions.
Yeah.
NBA world champions.
But the sexiest man alive, the sexiest lady alive, or the most beautiful is America. No other place exists. So these guys are short-sighted. They don't realize. Look at the thing about climate change and how countries like they call it LDCs. These are the countries that are just basically striving, least developed countries, striving to make it. Okay. And they don't realize that their actions now are negatively impacting countries like ours.
Right. That's right.
So
they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They've been asking them, well, listen, we're not the ones creating those problems in the environment, the atmosphere, and so on. So help us to, when the storms hit us, that we can we can survive.
Yeah.
Listen, they've been asking that for years now. They don't bother with the small countries. They don't really bother.
Forget what Trump said about Haiti.
Yeah, that's right. And Africa on the whole.
Okay.
They don't care. They just don't care, because once they figure that they are all right, they're not negatively in other words, they can cushion the impact of any increase in oil prices.
They will be able to cushion.
They don't really
the
care.
impact.
Right.
They don't really care. But we're going to feel it. Let's just hope, as I said, if I were an advisor to the Iranian government, I say, listen, you take your blows, partner, just chill. Just chill.
That's our way.
Yeah, because
of pride, Andre.
The pride,
Yeah, it's I don't think they'll back down anytime soon, no.
But
they've been
Andre,
taking blows for so long. You know, I doubt it.
Yes, one of the things, Andre would most likely know more than I and you on this, because, of course, the knowledge and him paying attention. The Iranian army, one time, or is it still a powerful army?
Well, I can't say they were a powerful army, but with the bombing that's been taking place there by Israel, okay, they've taken a lot of blows. So for them to be able to be in a position to fight a war, I don't think they can. But there are other things, tools that they have at their disposal. I just mentioned one to you, the issue of the oil. Okay, so this is one card that they have that they can play with. And also right now they're continuing to bomb Israel. Okay, so we have a back and forth as to how much they can take. Right. And especially you going up against the mighty United States there.
Who have other allies and so on.
You don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
They don't stand a chance.
But Russia has come out and warned America after what Trump did, because it's just going to open a huge can of worms in the Middle East there. And I don't think the world is ready for what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But let me ask you the two of you something. In fact, let me give you a little story. Because some of us try to take sides, and then we put ourselves in the position of Israel and say, well, if you attack me, what do you expect me to do? But you remember, I think about close to 60 or over 60 to 75 years, somewhere around there, Israel basically threw the people out. The people were in the land, they came, and I think when the Balfour Declaration said that they established the state of Israel, then you had the combined armies there from Egypt and Jordan, and all of them came to attack Israel. And when that happened, Israel was able to repel all of them, right? Able to repel all of them with the help of the U.S., I'm sure, as always. And they drove the people out. So from that time now, the people have been homeless, in a sense. So you have a lot of people in Gaza, they're still waiting to go back to their homes. And Israel has just occupied the territory. Right. So let me give you a little story. I think I gave Tony that story already. Let me just give it to you. So since you're there, Keena. You ever heard of a slave called Nat Turner? Okay, so you can go on Google and check it out. Oh, by the way, these days, Tony, I see I downloaded the latest app there on WhatsApp, and there's a thing that they have now called Ask Meta AI Anything. Did you get that on your phone?
Probably, but I didn't pay it no mind.
Yes, it's there. It's there. And boy, you can ask that thing anything, and I just like giving you the answer right away. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You voice or you type?
Yeah, you just type and you ask it whatever you want to ask it, and it gives you a response.
Okay.
Okay.
So Nat Turner?
Nat Turner was a black guy, and he was a slave. Now, Nat Turner, from what we understand, he was a smart fella, right? Probably has a lot of potential. It's like, say for example, you're Michael Jackson, right? Or any other great black star, but you cannot aspire to all your hopes and dreams, right? Because you are a slave. You are a slave. And it's either you accept your lot in life or you say, I will rebel. Okay? So let me ask you a question, Tony and Keena. If you were a slave, would you rebel at that time against your slave masters, Tony? If you're a slave? And if you do rebel, and that rebellion involves the taking of innocent lives, okay, because you're rebelling, right? You're rebelling, and as a result, you have children there in the on the plantation, and hey, you kill some children. No, let me rephrase it. You murder some children. You murder the man who owns and the woman who owns the plantation, but you're a slave. Would you condemn a black person for doing that? For rebelling against your slave masters? Would you condemn them?
What a question. Honestly, what a question.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. It's a very deeply personal thing. Yeah.
Because you don't like your situation.
You're a slave. You're a slave.
Right.
You're Michael Jackson. Waiting, you have all that potential in you. And think of all the other great black stars and so on who have graced this world. You have all that potential. I can sing, boy. I could dance. I could do this. I could do that. And you are a slave. And you're prevented from becoming who you really, really were designed to be and made to be, right? You could be great. You'd be great. And that's all has been stifled, right, by your slave masters telling you, you got to do my work for me, and that's it. Would it be right to condemn you for rising up against the slave owners? Would you be right to stand up to them and say, hey, you know something? I can't take this anymore.
Right. I think you can stand up to them, yes, for sure, no doubt. But when it comes down to like killing, taking lives, and so on, maybe that's the problem.
No, but you want to be free.
You want to be free, and that was an act for them
of desperation. It has to involve the taking of lives.
That's
taking the life of the slave owner. The slave owner, you have to take him out, right? Would you condemn Nat Turner, which is what he did? Would you condemn Nat Turner for rising up against the slave masters?
No. No.
For rising up,
wouldn't.
your last words, rising up against the slave masters, no, I would not condemn him for it. But for taking lives, I have a problem with that. I always do, always will.
Yeah.
But what choice do you have, Tony? What choice do you have? You have to rise up against the man that is keeping you down, making sure you remain a slave. You have to take him
and
out.
for him to get out of the situation.
What do you think happened in Haiti? What do you think happened in Haiti? It's the same thing. Okay? The slaves rose up against the French. They rose up against them. That's what they did. And when they rose up, they did that. It was a massacre. There was a massacre. Do we condemn the Haitians for doing that? Do we condemn them?
No, I wouldn't condemn them because the situation that they were in was very brutal. Not only that it was brutal, it's dehumanizing as well. So them rising up and doing what they had to do to get out of the situation, it was an act of desperation and courage as well.
Okay.
So they had to do what they had to do to get out of the situation.
Understood.
I don't think sometimes you have to make tough decisions, and in that case they had to make the tough decision to get out of the situation. When you see your loved ones or individuals around you suffering, you will want to do what you have to do to get them out of it. Even though I would not particularly say, okay, you're going to take somebody out, but they had no choice.
Yeah, what do? You have to be free.
They had no choice.
So let me tell you how bad it was, Tony. That's going to help you to make up your mind. When the blacks, I think we call them like Maois, they rose up.
The Maroons.
Yeah, they rose up. You know what the French did? They said, all right, okay, you want to be free, but you're going to have to pay for that freedom. They didn't have mercy on them, you know. They had no mercy, right? You're going to have to pay for that freedom. And that's why you see they had Haiti pay. I mean, it was billions of dollars. So that, because otherwise they would come back, Tony, after them. They would come back after them there with what they call an armada, right? Okay, ships and whatever was coming and massacre those people.
Yeah.
What would you do, Tony? He had to agree. They had to
And
agree.
them is like
They
killed or
had
be
to
killed.
agree. Yeah, they had to agree.
Yeah.
They had to agree. Okay, so I know, Tony, it's a little difficult
Yeah,
for you.
of course,
It's
of
difficult
course,
for you,
of course.
right? But that's what Nat Turner did. He rose up against the slave owners on the plantation. Let me tell you something. They skinned him alive.
I could imagine.
When that guy was caught, they skinned him alive, right? They made a mess with Missy for him having the audacity to rise up against the slave owner and to do what he did there. Well, he tried a thing.
He tried.
He tried a thing.
He tried.
Okay, so the question is, do you continue staying under the thumb of your slave master for another 100 years, and or you try what to be obedient? You try to be obedient. You just behave yourself, and hopefully at some point in time, another 400 years.
Sense prevails. You hope sense prevails on the other
that
end.
somebody now will
Somebody.
say, let me stop
let
this
you
thing.
stop.
Let me stop it.
Tough, man, tough.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So is it that time?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's about
that's
that time.
it.
It's about
But
2
let's say
minutes
good
after
morning
11.
to Tony and Keena, to our friends on DBS.
Good
Oh, yes,
morning,
yes,
very
DBS.
much.
Good
Yes,
morning,
yes,
Linda,
yes.
Juanita, Tristan, and the rest of the guys over at DBS sending you kisses.
Alrighty.
Mwah.
Okay, so go ahead, guys.
You ain't giving my flavor these days.
Which one?
Mwah.
Mwah.
Yeah, something like that. Alrighty then. We go to the WhatsApp platform and see who's checking in with us this morning. Josiane, hi Josiane.
Hi,
Good morning. She
Josiane.
says, "Good morning, Rev-Up family. A blessed and peaceful week to all." Thank you, Josiane. Have a good one yourself.
You as well, Josie.
Hi, Josie.
This next one reads, "Good morning, Team Rev-Up Andre. I have a question. Why now the new generation DJs now pause the music with bass alone? I think they call it demo, especially the country music. I'm telling you, it annoys me very much.
I don't get it.
I don't really get it.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
I thought you would. Because,
No, I don't get it. With the bass, I'm not aware of that. Okay, well, I'm with that one.
And the person went further to say, "What is happening to the country and Western music? They're changing it to Gaza dance."
Huh? I don't understand.
Neither do I.
Right.
I'm not aware of that kind of stuff at all.
Yes. Please explain a little later on. We, if there's time, do quickly. All right. If there's time,
Yes,
before we.
because I don't understand.
Right. So please explain. All right. This person here sends an open something. Let me see. Oh, what we spoke about.
Criteria?
The criteria, Calypso Monarch judging criteria. Of course, we won't have the time to go over it, so you can, who knows, maybe another day or something. Okay, so thanks for that. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, so remember, we are, I'm working with the WhatsApp messages right now, the shout outs, okay? Again, the person who sent this a while ago talking about a country and Western, if you can explain it any further, we'd be more than happy to read what you've sent, okay? All right, so we await your response. Now, this one says, "Good day to all. On the Calypso vibe, my question is more than 60 songs sang at the tents over the season. One and only one is being dissected all over social media." Oh, okay. One and only one is being dissected all over social media, from verse to hook, lines to chorus. That says something about the song. It's one of the most outstanding songs of the season. Just my thoughts. Not sure what you mean by that as well. Maybe you're talking about the Cacao song.
I think that's what the person is referring to.
Okay. All right. This one says, "Good morning, guys. Love the Calypso. Is always one of my favorite in the carnival season. One correction, Tony. Bachelor and T.C. Brown came about 20 years after her Black. I did not say that they came before or around his time. They came after, and they were just so good that they won crowns before her Black." That is what I was saying. All right. So no correction there really. And the other younger ones as well that came in and won crowns before him because they just that good. Andre T.C. Brown, you gotta give to
Oh,
T.C.
yeah, T.C. Brown,
just
gotta
so
give it
good.
to him too.
Now
He's really
T.C.
good.
is like a veteran. Imagine T.C. is a veteran Calypsonian these
Yes,
days.
imagine that.
He's
Imagine
fantastic, man. You know what I mean? And he won it. Is it 2 years ago? I think something like that. He won it
did.
again.
Yeah, he did.
So you got to give it to the TC. All right. Thanks for accepting my call. Says, is there the commercial house Calypso this year? That's a great question.
Into commercial house, I haven't heard anything about that, to be honest with you. I'm sure it's on.
I'm sure it's on.
It's usually compared to the Calypso thing, the regular Calypso shows and so on. They tend to be a little. I don't know why they seem to treat it like a little afterthought kind of thing. Yeah, it's almost like when the show is about to take place, then you hear about it.
Right.
Or maybe we haven't been paying attention. It's a possibility.
Not much has been said,
Let
to
me
be
check.
honest.
Every year I find. Yeah. I think when that was first mooted, the idea for that show was first mooted, there was a big fuss. And there still is a fuss because you have a lot of the fellow employees or whoever's representing these companies who come out in large numbers. So there's still a fuss among those who are actively involved, right? And their friends and fellow workers and so on. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find there's not a lot of noise being made in terms of the promotion of that particular show.
Wonder what happened. Because over the years, Andre, this was a big show.
That's right.
Well attended by the companies. They gave their T-shirts and so on to go and attend and just make noise for their representatives.
Exactly.
So it was
I think
good.
I see July 10th on there.
July 10th.
Yeah.
Into Calypso competition.
Intercommercial
See?
commercial.
Well, we most likely will get the ad as soon as they're ready.
It's July 10th from
Yeah,
what
so-
I'm seeing online.
Yeah, so we'll hear more about it. All right, this one says, no shame in the game. They keep condemning and they killing. And the killing continues day after day, I guess what we were talking about. All right, convolution. As always, you got a lot there. The person who spoke about the country and western thing never came back with anything. So I guess we can move on to the Facebook page and see who is with us this morning and who has checked in first and who is saying hi and what's up and all of that. So on the Facebook page, Sharon Peter says, good morning to all. Good morning, Sharon. Have yourself a lovely, lovely day. And she gives me a big shout out as usual, Tony.
Good morning.
All right, Matilda Floron says, good morning. Hi, Matilda.
Hi, Matilda.
Dakota McGuire, Cleveland Sealy. Hi, Dakota. Good morning to you as well.
Hi there,
Hi,
Dakota.
Pius Snappy Yaman says, good morning.
Morning,
Pius.
Good morning. Pearl Food Baby Henry says, good morning and happy Monday to all in the chat room and the Rev-Up family. Thank you, Pearl Food Baby.
You
Hi,
as well.
Pearl. Good morning.
Lilia Victor jumps right on in and says, good morning to all Rev-Up family. Blessed Monday, everyone. Thank you, Lilia.
Morning, Lilia.
Good morning, Lilia.
All right. Lucita Jean-Pierre. Hi, Lulu. Good morning, Andre and Tony Paul and beautiful Keena. Motivation Monday to all.
Good morning.
She's such a
Hi.
darling. Honestly, Lucita. Yeah. I love me some Lucita, man. All right. Lucita came right back and says, good morning to everyone on the live and Radio Garden. Share the link. Always reminding folks to share the link as well. We do appreciate you so much, Lucita. Thank you very, very much. Christine Challery says, blessed Monday to all of you. Thank you, Christine. Have a good one yourself. More blessings to you as well. Septima Joseph says, good morning. Good morning, Septima. John Flavian says, good morning, gentlemen and lady. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, John Flavian. Cecilia St. Marie Peter. Hi, Cecilia. She says, good morning. Industry is in the house, Andre.
Hi, good
Industry
morning.
Chazelle is in
Yes.
the house.
Who's that? Who's that?
Her name is Cecilia St. Marie Peter.
All right,
Hi,
Cecilia.
Good morning.
Guess who has checked in this morning? Andre, I'm saying Andre because, Andre knows the person and I met her once. Ethel Isman. Remember when she used to be there?
Yes.
Ethel, all of a sudden, we hadn't heard anything from us. So she's checking in this morning saying, good morning, Andre and Tony, and of course, Keena.
Good morning, Ethel. How
And
are
she
you?
says, yes, and she says, good morning, listeners as well. D. Francis Obey says, happy Monday, everyone. Thank you, D. Francis. And she
Hi,
sent
Dee.
your mwah for you.
Mwah.
John Flavian says, Andre driving so slow. That's why he took so long to get there.
Well, the roads are the best, huh? The roads are not the best. The roads are not the best, that's for sure.
All right, Jordan Shalry came right back and said, good morning, Andre and Tony, Keena, and everyone
morning,
in the
Jordan.
chat room. And, of course, lots of kisses there for you.
Kisses
and
right back. Mwah.
All right. Barbara Xavier says, good morning to
Babs.
all of you. Have a great day. Blessed love. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Drama Queen Augustine checking in with us this morning and says, good morning, everyone. Blessed week. Rev-Up family. Thank
Good morning,
Hi.
Drama
Queen.
Queen.
Drama Queen. Good morning.
you. Yeah, imagine calling yourself Drama Queen. Eh?
Imagine that.
Drama Queen.
It has a nice ring to it,
I
too.
tell you. All right. Josie Stevens says, oh, please, just politics. There's no two ways about it. I guess, again, maybe talking about the Calypso with Kakal and so on. Maybe that's what it is.
Most likely.
So, all right, Josie. Cool. Christine Joseph says government is too involved in the Calypso competition and it is worse this year. Christine Joseph. Christine Joseph came right back and said, Sir John never cared what Calypsonians sang about him. Christine again, the days of Pele. That's another one that was in there. How could I forget Pele in terms of, you know what I mean? Exactly. That's another one that was in there that again held her back, you know. All right, 2 days of Pele, the days of Pele were different days, the days of Sir John. Sylvester Bissett says, good day, Rev-Up family.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Sylvester.
Morning to the weatherman.
That's him. And he went,
How's the sexy girl doing?
sexy girl.
You ever
Oh,
play that?
yes.
Sexy girl.
No, I haven't, but I've heard it several times.
Sexy girl. Andrew, I always, let me see, we have time. Yes, we have some time.
Yeah,
It's
we
still
do.
more to go, but when I heard the song, Weatherman, I dig horrors that you repeat sexy girl so many times. To me, it's sexy girl.
That's how he wanted
Sexy
it. When I
girl,
heard it, I was
sexy
thinking like
girl,
there was a
sexy
fusion
girl.
of like old school with new school.
Mhm.
Just how he sang it, I kind of really like it. Though.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah,
You like it?
I like it.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but why, the repeat of sexy girl? Then I listened to other songs and I realized people do that a lot. They would repeat the same line. I went downtown. I went downtown. And I'm like, I went downtown. You have to
Well,
repeat that.
when you write your song and you go record it, then you'll put I went downtown.
I agree.
So that's what my thinking was. The sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy. Oh, hello,
That's
you're
how
sexy
he
girl?
sings it?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, not
Pakatan
quite.
man.
Not quite.
Andrew, just like that.
Not quite.
Just
Not
like
quite.
that.
Not quite.
No, I think he said sexy girl. Maybe like
And he
ad-libbing
says
or
something else. Yeah, he says something
else.
else. Yeah.
You
Sexy girl 4 or 5 times. Sexy girl, sexy
What about
girl,
sexy girl you don't
sexy
like?
Sexy girl, too many. All right, so he's chiming in and he says, I don't think it's worse, Christine. Just maybe there are more Labour Party supporters singing Calypso nowadays. That's what the weatherman said.
Oh,
And he
okay.
said, he continues to
Or
say,
writing,
or writing.
writing.
Exactly.
as the case
Yeah.
may be.
Right.
Mm.
And he went further to say, so they sing for the party. All right. He continues again. He says, yes, Keena, it's costly to put out a top class recording. Therefore, this could be a contributing factor when it comes down to releasing new recordings.
Yeah.
The weatherman, I always like weatherman. Lucita Jean-Pierre came right back and says, the Donald don't care a hoot about nobody. The man just wants to be seen. He is tough. When Americans will start paying for it, did he remember 911? What the Muslims did? These people not afraid to die. Some people already have fear to fly. He is making, and see more,
The
he's
world a
making,
lot more dangerous.
right, he's making America great again.
Well, he did say he wants Iran to be great again.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but,
Imagine that.
but you cannot make that decision for the people who say they want to be great again. You're telling them
Exactly.
make yourself great again.
Yeah.
This guy.
Behave thyself. Barbara Augustine, that's my Barbara. Barbara says, my favorite people, good morning.
Good
Nice
morning,
having
Bab.
you here with me at home. All in the chat room. Hello.
Hey,
No.
Babs.
I wonder if it's Nadia Gabriel, but it spells Niadia. So
Could be.
yeah,
Could be.
maybe Nadia. So Nadia Gabriel, keep it like that. Good morning, Rev-Up family. It's so nice to listen to all of you, and not forgetting my patient. Is it patient? Love to hear Keena laugh. Okay, Patient. Okay, not to forget my patient.
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Whoever your patient is, sending kisses. Mwah.
Weste Duet. Now, once Weste Duet check in, it's like regular.
You know, regular, right?
I agree with you, Keena, whatever it is that you were talking about at the
Hi,
time.
West is Good morning.
Weste Duet says, everywhere the white man goes, it is to conquer, grab control, and take over. Weste Duet continues. Even if a Caucasian laugh, smile with you, at the back of his mind is that the black man is inferior to them.
Well, that's not that's like painting everybody with the same brush.
Right.
That's unfair.
I agree.
Not everybody's like that.
I
Not
agree.
every white person is like that.
Giselle Fede. Hi, Giselle. Welcome.
Giselle.
She says, good morning, Keena, and all of
Good
Rev-Up
morning,
family.
Giselle.
All right. Weste Duet came right back with saying, just like Haiti, we are still made to pay for wanting to be free. And you know, it skips, so I have to go back because people are typing, so it just jump
so
in.
it jumps.
Right. This is how they are taking our money in all the celebrated days: Christmas, Easter, Cupid Day, Mother's Day, and Father's Day, and much, much, much more. Weste Duet.
Can I just read something there, Tony?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
About Nat Turner. Nat Turner's rebellion was a pivotal slave revolt that took place in Southampton County, Virginia in August 1831. Led by Nat Turner, an enslaved African-American preacher. The rebellion aimed to challenge the institution of slavery and secure freedom for enslaved people. The rebellion began on August 21st, 1831, when Nat Turner and a small group of followers killed the enslaver, Joseph Travis, and his family. The group then moved from plantation to plantation, freeing enslaved people and gathering supporters. The rebellion resulted in the deaths of around 55 to 65 people, mostly white. The rebellion was eventually put down by state and federal troops on the 23rd of August, 1831. Nat Turner was captured on October 30th, 1831, and executed by hanging on the 11th of November, 1831. The rebellion led to a wave of fear among white slaveholders, resulting in stricter slave codes and increased restrictions on enslaved people and free black communities. The rebellion also sparked debates about slavery and abolition, contributing to the growing tensions that eventually lead to the American Civil War. There's a lot more, but I'll just leave it there. So that did take place. Did take place.
Yeah.
All right?
For sharing.
It's written. It's in history.
Yeah.
So the thing is, would you condemn him? That's what I was asking. No answer now. Would you condemn him for what he did?
Yeah. Luther Alce says, God's richest blessings to the host and co-host of Rev-Up. Be
Good
safe.
morning. Thank you so much.
Luther Alce.
Luther. He's
All
the
right.
first, isn't he?
Yeah.
For Luther Alce?
Mhm.
Really?
I've never heard of
Yeah, I've
Luther
never heard
Alce
of him.
before.
Okay. I think I have.
Okay.
And I
You
could
have?
be
Okay.
wrong. I could be wrong. All
Well,
right.
Luther number 2, welcome.
I wonder if that's what you said the first time I mentioned him.
Maybe.
You don't understand that?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so just perhaps. I remember seeing the name Luther, and of course, it would ring a bell right away. So I think Luther has probably been there for a while.
Okay.
Right, Luther? You can let us know, okay? Luther, I'll say. Weste Duet, I want to know how government is too much involved in the Calypso. Okay. When writers write their song and not ministers. Weste Duet. All right. Nadia Gabriel says, yes, that is the correct spelling. It is a French spelling.
Thanks, Nadia.
All right. So at least you told us, so that's what it is. Luther Alce says, my favorite Calypso for 2025 is Drunk Cars. Good lyric, he says, wait, he say again, good lyrical content. Big up, educator.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, okay, one more to go. I'll just read it quickly. Good morning, all. Have a great week. That is coming from Val Monrose.
Thanks.
Now, even I spoke about 10 songs. That was, who said it about Luther, right? Luther, this is what my thinking was. That song itself, To the Cause, Drunk Cause, was a 10th song. That was my thinking at first because of, the construction of it and all of that. But it's a nice play on words as well. So Educator probably saw it as a song that he could compete with. So he did, and he's now into the semifinals.
The semifinals, that's great.
But honestly, in terms of talking about 10 songs, I kind of thought that was one of them as well. I didn't think he would go to the Calypso finals, take it to the competition itself.
Okay. Just a couple of things before we end. Are you guys aware that in the U.S., they had 1,000 new millionaires each day of last year. 1,000 new millionaires each day of last year.
I'm so happy.
Wow.
We had the time for you to go there.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You understand with the mint and the printing of because that's part of the story. Do you understand that at all? Because I kind of don't. Because the story says about how many thousands of people became millionaires and they printed money and all of that. I kind of thought that's where you were going to go, but just talking about the millionaires itself, I suppose.
Well, they spoke about robust stock market
All that
returns. Yeah, I guess people investing and so on. They spoke about the S&P 500 jumping more than 23% last year.
Right.
So all these people, I guess, with the investments and so on, did pay off. But I'm just amazed that you could have
How many?
so many
millionaires.
1,000
1,000
every day. That's according to UBS. That's a bank. I think it's a bank called UBS. So they did their research. 1,000 new millionaires each day last year in the US. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a
1,000
lot
per day.
per day. That's what they said there.
Yeah.
According to a new report from investment
For
bank
last year?
UBS, the
For the-
US
Yes.
minted 1,000.
That's the minted part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a play on words.
Ah.
Yeah, minted. Yeah. Almost like you make it official kind of thing. Yeah. So it's
But that's
it's a
what they
done,
call
done deal.
money, the making of money.
Yes,
Yes,
they mint it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could have different meanings. Remember that. It doesn't just mean one thing. Yeah. So yeah. So like you say, a freshly minted Calypso King. Yeah. So 1,000 new millionaires each
That's
day
amazing.
last year. What? Show you that
That's
economy,
amazing.
right?
The economy is booming.
And
like-
despite the fact that you can have all these millionaires, you still have a whole bunch, close to 1 million people who are homeless.
Yeah.
Who are homeless. It's a kind of contradiction, right?
Yeah, very.
Doesn't make sense. But that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
It is
that,
indeed.
that we can only dream about something like that in St. Lucia.
But it also actually speaks of how wide that gap is now getting. You know, from some
You mean
people-
those who have and
those who
don't
have and those who don't. Yeah.
But let me ask you, do you think that we have many millionaires in St. Lucia?
No,
No.
Basically, I answered quickly, but for me, absolutely
I
not.
don't think so.
You know, no way.
But we have a few, right?
There are.
Yeah.
There,
We
I've
have a
heard.
few.
I've heard of a few.
We have a few.
Andrea, I've heard of a few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have a few.
I have. Since we're here, some other folks are checking in quickly. Darren Charles. Good morning to all you guys who tune in
Good morning,
on radio tune in.
Tune in
Jana George, Jahanna Jahanna, Jahanna George, right?
Hi, Jana.
Hi, Jahanna. No one is dissecting the song because it is that good. The discussion is because the artist and his supporters are insisting that he was unfairly treated. Also, Eustace, now that's the first for me. Eustace Dossery. Hi, Rev-Up friend. All right, Eustace Dossery. Thank you, Eustace, for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
Hi, Eustace.
Then Lucita said, and so many homeless begging by the subway and streets. Homeless, just as Andrew was saying.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, man. So many millionaires and so many homeless people. Isn't that
See,
something?
3 different meanings were minted. 3 different meanings.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of them is what you said there.
Right.
But the other meanings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Jeff Bezos, he was married to this lady, I think, for about 25 years. And they eventually divorced.
They
So
eventually,
he's getting married again.
Really?
Yeah, in Italy. Yeah. And in the city of Venice, the people are upset about that because when they come, they bring a whole bunch of people, celebrities with them and so on. I guess to some degree, it kind of like, maybe kind of messes up the vibe in the city.
The whole vibe, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe streets are sealed off, things like that, right? Because you know how it is when the celebrities come around, you have to make room for them.
Yep.
That's right.
So the people of Venice are not happy about that at all.
I'm not surprised.
Why do you say that? Why do you say
It's
that?
a beautiful country that people just go about their daily lives like pretty just cool,
Yes.
just easy,
Yes.
as the wind blows, as some people may say. So you have a whole bunch of celebrities just coming in.
Yes,
You know
that's
what's
true.
going to happen, right?
Yes. And I guess people have to be, the traffic is
Yeah.
held up. They see a celebrity, kind of thing. Yeah. But I wish in St. Lucia the whole celebrity status came with wealth. I wish that because if you're a celebrity in the US, you're heavy.
Yeah.
You're rolling
You're heavy.
in some dough.
Yeah.
So not hair. Do you listen? Do you think the politicians, Tony, are the real celebrities in St. Lucia?
You have asked the question. You've also said you think so, and absolutely, for me, absolutely, the politicians.
Yeah, they're the real celebrities.
Yes, they for me receive the best treatment. You know what I mean? They have access to certain things, and the best treatment.
They could just show up at you when you offer water.
Oh,
Maybe some juice even. You want to see it? Here, sir.
Them and the people with money in this country.
You think it's still that way?
Sometimes some business people here are seen as celebrities as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But mainly the
some of
politicians.
businesses.
Mainly the politicians.
But the politicians.
Yeah, because they have the popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get away from that, boy.
Yes,
I don't share that same view, but
so what's your view? What's your view?
Right.
I think they're respected
That's it?
by the majority of St. Lucians.
You don't think they're popular?
Popular.
Celebrity. They're very popular, the politicians.
Some of them.
Whatever it takes to be a celebrity, they got it.
Yeah.
The big salaries, the big
vehicles,
the vehicles.
Yeah.
You name it, the popularity.
Yes.
They have the popularity. They maybe have the big salaries. I see nothing else. Huh?
Everything else.
You sure about that?
When you and I have to pay to go to
That's right.
somewhere,
Jazz.
fellas just
VIP. VIP.
They ain't just not paying it; they giving passes.
Yeah, that's right. That's
They
right.
have passes.
There are other ordinary St. Lucians that just get passes and go nonetheless.
And look at that.
And they have the big
because
rides and they have monies and stuff like that, and they get the same treatment.
They get those. You say some St. Lucians, right?
Yeah, man.
You just named a celebrity. They have the big ride, they have the big job, they have the big
Tony,
salaries.
when
you
they
just
go
name another celebrity.
When they're traveling, they don't have to take a line.
Yes.
They don't have to go through what we ordinary folks go through.
Hello.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, they have they have all kind of celebrity status.
I'm a dog grandfather. What are you
Talking. They got it good. They have it good.
Yeah.
Well, they have it good, yeah.
So now you understand
They
why
kinda
they
have
keep
it.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
They keep, imagine once upon a time you were in the limelight, you were the celebrity. I mean, you were everything. And now you're in opposition. You're in the wilderness. You can't take that.
At all?
A celebrity is always a celebrity, yeah?
No,
Mind
not in the
you.
politics.
No, well, you see, that's why they're not celebrities, because
Let me tell you.
after that time,
So
5 years is gone and you
Right.
lose the election, you ain't no celebrity.
yeah.
So
Well,
wow,
for 5
that
years.
is for only 5 years.
Yeah, for 5 years.
Upa celebrity, pap.
Unless, of course, they retain power.
Exactly.
Well, Upa celebrity.
So, I mean,
Celebrities are always celebrities,
So
nonetheless.
is P Diddy a celebrity?
Still is.
Still is.
Yeah, man.
Until they lock him up.
I'm
if they
sure
do.
if I'm
R.
sure.
Kelly.
No, R. Kelly, people still listen to his music. They still, everything about R. Kelly is R. Kelly for some people, just like whatever. So if R. Kelly were to get out of jail there right now, just like Vibes Cartel, boom, a big show.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
A man can go to jail for murder and then come and charge you $1.3 million
I know, right?
to appear.
Isn't that something?
I mean, that is something else, man. What? And he have one beautiful chick that seemed to love him.
What's her name again? I can't remember.
She's from England, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is from England. I can't
left
remember
England.
her
She
name.
left her profession to come and
Yeah,
to
she made
support
a lot
Vibes
of
Cartel.
sacrifices for Vibes Cartel,
What?
though.
I mean, that's love.
Mhm.
That's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real deal, man.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Before we end,
Because remember, he's in jail. Remember, he was in jail at the time, and
that's
she
right.
came down,
And
That's
she
right.
really
support the guy.
supported him.
yeah.
Yep.
Really important question, but of course, I'm sure we don't have the statistics. Wested Wet is asking of the how many millionaires per day last year, how many of them are black? Of
good
course,
question.
Yes,
We
good question.
don't know.
We don't have
Yeah, we
that.
don't know.
that
That's a
figure.
very good question.
I'll maybe
Yes.
have to check.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How many of them were Palestinian?
Oh, how many of them were Chinese?
Yeah, most likely they included them.
Right.
Yes, those electric vehicles, I think they call them BDS.
Yeah.
They're produced in China.
In China.
These vehicles are in St. Lucia. I saw one on the road on the weekend.
Oh.
I saw one. Yes, so somebody has it already.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, these are fully electric
But
vehicles.
them things idling.
Boy,
You don't hear anything.
What? Amazing.
Anything.
What?
Nada.
And you know, as time goes by, this thing is going to be refined, continually refined,
Yes.
refined.
Oh, yeah.
You
my
can
gosh.
start that remotely.
Yeah, boy, Tony. So I'm taking this on. So Tesla can't come anywhere by those
No.
vehicles. Yeah. So, but they have them. They have them here. I
Yeah.
think JQ Motors. They have them.
So I've heard.
I think I saw a few of them there. They're beautiful. My gosh, the interior is out of this world. Yeah, out of this world.
I wonder what the price tag is on it.
A lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
It's $100.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think maybe like 180,000, somewhere around there. Yeah. I wonder if we're ready to house, when I say house or host those kinds of vehicles, because St. Lucia, once you see a certain time, gas stations filling stations.
Well, don't they have I think Lucilec has a electrical something.
I don't.
I think somewhere by JQ does. Where else again? I'm not sure.
That's what I'm asking. I wonder how equipped we are to host
too equipped, I
this
think.
country, these vehicles. Yeah.
Not sure.
So I guess whoever bought them or is buying them, they probably, I'm sure that they're well informed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure they are.
And I suppose among some of the millionaires here would be buying them.
Yes.
Just kidding with that one.
Well, the bank, the bank actually buys the thing because the bank has the money.
But according to you, you have to show you can pay for the vehicle.
Yeah.
What is the requirement?
That's right.
The
Once you meet
The
that,
requirements?
you're good to go. You're good to go. Alrighty, so we got to wrap things up. This has been a hard drive for today, Monday. Thanks a lot for listening and thanks for viewing. For those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, and also on DBS, thanks for the time. We really appreciate you taking the
Thank you so
time to
much,
listen to
DBS.
us and
Most
to
definitely.
chime in and so on and so on. So Keena is next. So Keena, what do you have coming up on your show for today?
A woman in the Caribbean has been identified as the only person alive to have a rare blood type, and it's called Guado, and she's from the Caribbean. So I'm gonna to let listeners know where she's from, how old she is, and what scientists are saying, because there was a mutation in both her parents' genes, and she has a rare blood type. So that's that. The fallout from the U.S. airstrikes in Iran. Billboard has released a list of the greatest R&B singers of all time. So I'll touch on that as well. You'll find out who's on the top of that list. And a new study is saying that AI is planning to kill humans. I'm going to break that down further as to why AI will be trying to kill humans in the future. Safe Street, Strong Communities at 1:45. We have the Rev-Up Slu News with Andre Paul at 1 p.m. The Riddle of the Day, Hit of the Day, and not forgetting the One Hit Wonder, and much more.
All right, so Keena is going to be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. From 3 is going to be Zen the DJ until 6, and then from 6 until 8 tonight. Until 7. We have Tony Paul.
1 hour.
Tony Paul with Rev-Up the Homegrown. Yeah, just a slight correction. I said BDS. It's actually BYD. That's the Chinese company.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
BYD making those fantastic electric vehicles. Okay, so that's what's happening on Rev-Up St. Lucia for today. So do stay tuned. Thank you so much for the company, for being with me this morning. God willing, you can check me out tomorrow morning, same time from 5 o'clock for another Wake Up and Live. So Keena is up next. Have yourself a great, great, great day. So long, everyone.
Welcome to Dax, Castries, Grosley, and Rodney Bay. You want to wine and dine? I'll give you the facts. The best cuisine and entertainment is at Dax. Alexis Ayol karaoke every Thursday. Old school and